So guys, welcome to the Start Canada training call. So like Tina just said back then, if you're watching the recording, this is a business training call for associates. So really what we're all about is we are a group of young people who have a common vision, and that vision is to ignite all young people to own their lives, both physically and financially, and through our contributions, create freedom and a lasting legacy. Who could get excited about that, guys? Anyone who's on the phone? There's lots of hands going up. We're all really excited about that. So the purpose of this call is to unite all Start Canada peeps across the country. We have people from almost every province and territory, I think. And it's open up to anyone worldwide, though. You don't have to be in Canada to actually be on these calls, and you don't have to be a START member to be on these calls. So we get together and we provide tools, support, coaching, and inspiration so that every single person who leaves this call will have a 10 out of 10 belief in yourself, in their company, in network marketing, so that you can go out there and share this gift with people and make them feel as good as you feel. So just a quick disclaimer, Isagenix is a health and wellness company. We do have superfoods. However, we do not make any claims to diagnose, cure, or treat any diseases. Also, what you put in is what you get out. So every body will react to it differently. So when you put a superfood into your body, miracles can happen. You might also hear some financial claims tonight. Those claims are based on the person's input into this business. No two people are the same. So we are not promising that you will make any amount of money. It's what you put in is what you're going to get out. So guys, thank you so much for joining this call and for taking the time on this cold Sunday, well, depending where you were, to come out. I'm so excited to see you guys all in pajamas and everything. Kids, it's so great to see you guys. So I'm really excited to get this call started. And to get it started, the lovely Raeanna Kelly is going to be starter in the spotlight. Just a little tidbit of information about her. She's a 21-year-old who grew up on a farm in Saskatchewan, and now she's living in Toronto, going to York University. She started Isagenix in June of 2016 and is currently working towards a Bachelor of Administrative Studies with a specialized honors in finance. She's a recent retired varsity athlete, hockey player, and she has found new ways to keep active, stay in shape, and design the life that she wants to live by exploring the freedom that life can offer us. She has recently discovered her love for long-distance cycling, and most recently, she completed the Ride to Conquer Cancer, cycling over 230 kilometers in 2 days. You know, that's amazing and crazy. So guys, please use the chat, show her some love.
Great. Thank you so much, Kim. That was awesome. I'm really honored to be able to speak on this call tonight, you guys. I absolutely love this call. It's really kept me motivated, and it's most definitely got me out of my comfort zone just for this reason of speaking on calls. So tonight I'm going to share a little bit about my journey, and I hope that at least a few of you can relate to how I was feeling or how I am feeling, and to really understand the vehicle of Isagenix has just been so powerful in my life. So I guess a couple weeks prior to being introduced to Isagenix, I made one of the biggest decisions of my life, or at least at the time, it felt like the biggest decision of my life. And that was to retire as a varsity hockey player. And it might not seem like a very big deal to you guys, but let me tell you, when you breathe, sleep, think, eat, and have the friends that you have, all because of hockey, it was a huge decision. And so this decision left me kind of in a place where I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do or where I wanted to go. So I guess I decided to retire from hockey because I knew that there was more to life than just hockey. And I was really ready to understand what my future career was going to be. But the problem was that I had no clue what my career was going to end up being. And I knew that it was going to be hard for me to find a career that I would love, because I wasn't willing to settle for something that I was wasting my time and wasn't happy doing. So in June 2016, so this year, I was back home in Saskatchewan, and my past teammate gave me a call, and she goes, hey, like, I started this cleanse with this company called Isagenix, and you have to check it out. And she said, I really think that you'd be good at the business side of it. And some people might think I was crazy, but without even thinking or doing proper research, I said yes. And I didn't even second guess her. And I just trusted my gut, and I trusted the sense that my body was telling me. And I look back now and I hear a lot of people saying that they're skeptics, and I think, wow, like, I probably should have done a little bit more research. But every single day, Isagenix just proves to me that I've made the right decision, and that I'm just really lucky to have said yes to this company at that time. And in regards to that situation, it just really solidified the saying that you can't say the wrong thing to the right person at the right time. And I really hope that resonates with a few of you guys, because I really truly do believe in that. So right now, because I'm a student with Isagenix, it fits into my lifestyle in the pockets of my time. It's been so amazing because I've joined a new team of positive, like-minded people, and it is just so fulfilling for me to give back to my friends and family and colleagues and old teammates, and to really help them get their lives back on track. So I guess to conclude, I'm super excited about diving into sharing Isagenix and creating freedom for not only myself, but for other people. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to kind of working with my schooling and balancing it more and just diving into it even further. So yeah, that's my story.
That was so great. Thank you, guys. Let's show some love for her. That was amazing. That's so funny that you also dove right in, because I was the exact same. I heard about Isagenix and I didn't think twice. I signed up that week. Like, I was in it. But I know a lot of people are skeptics, so it's nice to meet someone who wasn't. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your vulnerability of telling us that. That was really great. So next up, we have our business training portion of the call. I am so excited to hear from this lady. For those of you who don't know her, her name is Chanci Dawn. She's always been passionate about helping others. As a former kindergarten teacher, life coach, and nutritionist, she has always pursued careers with a goal to change lives. Yet, it wasn't until she discovered Isagenix that she felt that she truly had a vehicle to influence lives on a scale that she desired to. Chanci has been with Isagenix for over 5 years and was one of the first 80 associates to be recognized as a member of START 1000. That's amazing. She lives on Vancouver Island in Canada with her 3 kids and a golden doodle puppy named Barkley. So Chanci, thank you so much for being on this call. First, I would like to ask if you wouldn't mind sharing your story for those of us who don't know it.
Sure. Oh, look it. You were like right on the ball, Tina. I'm like unmuted instantly. I was so impressed with that. Usually it's like, am I muted? Am I muted? Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the call tonight. I was super thrilled when I was asked, just because the START group is so important to me. And when I first started Isagenix, it didn't exist. And I remember, and all of a sudden, Eric, like, we had like 60 people in this Facebook group, and it was so small, but really tight and really neat. And I'm 38 now, so I'm actually not a member anymore, but it's just something it's just so fun, and it's great, the support that everyone offers each other. So thanks. I'm super honored to be on this call. So, Yeah, 5 years ago, I was introduced to Isagenix, and at the time, I was a military spouse, traveling all over the place, and I was an unemployed kindergarten teacher and a nutritionist who had all sorts of ideas of what I wanted to do for a business to be able to help people. But at that time, my little girl, she was diagnosed with a brain tumor. So all of my plans, everything that I wanted to do, business-wise for that just kind of fell apart. So my marriage was extremely rocky, and I really felt that it was important for me to stay at home, to come, to stop teaching, to stop creating all my coaching programs that I wanted to create, and just to be a mom, to my little girl, to spend the time I could with her in the hospital for her healing, and really just invest my time and energy into making amazing food for my family, for her healing, as well as my stress reduction and all of that support. So that's what I was doing. But it wasn't working. I was extremely stressed out. I literally felt like crap, honestly. I would wake up in the morning and I would just not want to get out of bed. I just felt depleted, energy wise, and I felt really foggy. I couldn't focus. And so even though I was staying at home with her and doing what I wanted to do, I wasn't actually fulfilling what I really felt that my family needed. So when a friend of mine, Danielle, asked me to try Isagenix, I thought, what the heck? Sure, go ahead. So I have been told probably about, for 3 years before then that there was this company, these products, and I was a skeptic. So good for you guys who work, because I was like, what? I'm a nutritionist. I felt sort of all proud and high and mighty, Whole Foods only. And then I kind of was like, okay, I'm doing everything that I'm teaching others to do, and I'm still not feeling the vitality that I want to. I don't have the energy. My skin, it's just dry and not good. And my hair, all these things that I was working towards, it just wasn't happening for me. And then I was remembering in my schooling about how I learned how you actually would need 6,000 nutrient-dense calories. So these are from the optimal sourced calories in order to even come close to nutrition that we actually need. So when I started thinking about that, and then my friend said, here, look at this, I thought, sure, I'll give it a try. In 2 weeks, I felt like a different person. Honestly, I could not believe it. I was getting up at 5:30 in the morning, doing Pilates, and usually my kids were always late for school because I just wanted to sleep all the time. So it gave me, first of all, energy. I lost a little bit of weight, but that wasn't my main goal. For me, it was the energy and just clarity so I could focus, and that's what it helped me with. So I was sold. I was a believer from then on in, and I started learning so much more about the products, and I met nutritionists and just dove in. And from that moment forth, I was like, I am doing this business because this stuff needs to get out there. I needed to tell everyone because I felt so passionate about how this could truly change people's lives. So for me, the income aspect was, it played a part, but really I just wanted to get my products paid for, and I wanted, to be able to make enough to be able to stay at home. But because of the way that this business is structured, and because I have this phenomenal team that really has a great system that I dove into, I followed. I didn't have any network marketing experience, so I was super new at it. So I'm like, okay, tell me what to do and I'll do it. I dove in. Probably within 10 months, I had replaced my teaching income so I could then stay at home with my family. And that was phenomenal. And then I forget how many, how long it was until the start, but I was when they first announced the Start 1000, I was recognized on stage for that. And, it really unfolded super naturally and really with a lot of grace, I felt, because I really followed the system that was offered to me and that our company as wide offers. So that was it. And my husband and I separated. my goal, you know, sort of midway was to retire him. I thought that I'd be able to save my family. But what I realized was that, you know, like the higher power, God, the universe, whatever you wanted to call it, actually had a bigger plan for me. And that was to be able to be a single, you know, stay-at-home mom who makes a killer income. Like, that's my tagline. I'm like, I love it, right? And I've been able to, send my kids to a great school, hire the tutors, the extra help that my daughter has needed along the way. And I was even able to support another single mom and give her Christmas for her family when she couldn't afford it. And that was my first year as a single mom myself. And that just felt like such a gift. I literally walked down the aisles of Toys R Us crying because I was able to do that. Like, wow, I'm getting emotional right now, right? It just means so much to be able to give back. Whew, I wasn't expecting to get all emotional. That's crazy. But, you know, and then I've also been able to support my little sister. She moved in with me with her baby and lived here for 2 years. And now she's moved out. But it's really being able to give back and be the mom that my kids deserve and be able to help other people, you know, realize their dreams and visions and see that their goals and the life that they want to live can be a reality. You know, so that's what I love. That's my why, right? Learning about other people's whys now and just being like, you can, if I could do this, anyone can do this. So yeah, that's my story.
Oh my gosh, that was so, I just got shivers up my spine like 3 times while you were talking. That was really great. Thank you. So
thank you.
Just for those who don't know, what can you explain a little bit, what is the START 1000? Why was it created? Kind of a little background on it, just for people who don't know what it is.
Sure. So the START 1000, obviously the START group is for ages 18 to 36. And the START 1000, it's to celebrate, really, you know, Kathy Coover's ultimate goal is to create the most 6 and 7 income earners, right, out of any other company. And they're like, Eric is like, yeah, and my goal is to really focus on the START group here, to do that within the START group. So the START 1000, it's like the first 1,000 people in that age category to create a 6-figure income. So a 3-star or above rank. Yeah. That's it. And you get a really cool, you know, little trophy.
Thank you. So just, I know a lot of the STAR members, they really like to hear about scheduling and day-to-day practices. So can you explain just a little bit on what was your typical day when you were grinding for the executive and grinding to get to that STAR 1000?
Sure. Yeah. So, you know, I did not have a job at the time, but I did have 3 little kids, and, you know, I was taking care of a household. So for me, what I did, again, I had the energy because of the nutrition I was getting to get up early. So I actually did. I got up. Thank you, Sarah. I thought you had 3 full-time jobs. Yeah, I did, for sure. I love it when people recognize that. So, sorry, what was I saying? Oh, right. So I would get up early. The very first thing is self-care, right? Like, for me, if I don't schedule in self-care right off the bat, then I usually don't get it in. So meditation, prayer, exercise, like that is so important, because that just kind of brings everything else into your life into alignment. That's what I find. So that's what I started, and that's what I've continued. So right off the bat, something self-care wise, exercise is so phenomenal. And then, so scheduling, I worked really hard, you guys. Like, I'm not going to say that this was just, oh yeah, share with a couple people and then they took off and I took off. Like, we didn't actually have the 90-day game plan when I first started. We didn't have, you know, the concept of bursting that we do now. When Eric Worre started doing a lot of training, that's when we started learning about that for our team. And I think it's phenomenal because now we have a word for it. But for me, I just focused. Like, it was 5:30 in the morning, self-care. And then I did some calls for people who are in the East, got my kids ready for school, took my one who was in school, came home, and then I was just like focused from then on in. And I actually hired my little sister to watch my other two little kids. And that was a financial strain, but I knew that I needed to do I had to give some stuff up. I had to make sacrifices at first in order to be able to give this the time that it needed. So I would work all the way until I would pick them up from school, or my son up from school, and then I'd come home, make dinner, spend some time with the kids before bed, read a book to bed, and then I would work until about 10:30. I did that for, I think, about 6 or 7 months. Honestly, it was crazy. Like one of my friends said, because I wanted to get a tattoo, and she's like, oh, you should get like an Isagenix sleeve, right? Because they're like, you're so crazy. But I'm like, good idea, but no. But, it was a lot, because once I caught the vision, I wanted to do what I could to make this what it could potentially be for myself. And I'm so glad I did, because it was about 1.5 years into it that the separation happened. And I was able to take off a lot of time because of the residual income. Now, I'm building hard again now. I took, not fully off. I was still helping my team and enrolling, but just not like super focus bursting. And now it's pretty much back to the same thing. I'm not working like I was at night, but all day after self-care. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no,
okay.
That's great. Because I know a lot of like starters want to know, like, okay, so what time do I wake up? Like, what do I get going? And what I really love what you just said there is, and this has been a theme for almost everyone we've talked to, is every single person has said, once I've caught the vision. So I really love that you said that again, because I feel like that's the light that turns on, right? Like that's awesome. So so you worked really hard and you sacrificed time with your children and financially, but what would you say was the biggest challenge while you were on this grind?
Definitely, I would say time. I would, like finding the time to carve it out in your life, to be able to really put towards this, to create, if you really want to go for it. A lot of people just want to get their products paid for, or an extra $500 or $1,000 a month. And if that's a goal, then you don't have to go as, focused and crazy as I did. And there's definitely people who are a lot more intense than I have ever been, right? So it really depends on what your specific goals are. So time for me, that was an issue because I was really going for it. But what I really like to teach my team now, and anyone who I talk to, is first of all, find out what your goals are. That is so important. And then have someone who knows and who can coach you on this to really help you hone in on the income producing actions, right? Because if you just sit down and you create spreadsheets for your spreadsheets, and you go through like Facebook and you're liking a few things, you could spend hours doing that kind of stuff, and it's really quite a time waste because it's not actual income producing action. So that's what it is. Like, get out the 15 minutes of focus, get out, like your agenda, and make sure you're actually putting the time into the things that count. And if you don't know what that is, reach out to your team, because people can help you with that. And that is what I really learned. For me, focus was not always an easy thing. I really love to create things. I would spend hours creating like posters, right? That was before like Canva and stuff. And I was like on Word. And then Nicole Stewart, my coach, she was like, are you kidding me? Like, that is not okay. And that's not duplicatable. So I was like, okay. So I really learned how to do that. And as soon as I learned about duplication and income producing actions, it was a game changer for me. Yeah, so there's my biggest thing and my biggest solution.
That answers the next question. So talking about your team a little bit more, how do you stay organized with your growing team? How do you make sure that you stay in touch with your team? And how do you balance your team as well as your building?
Yeah. Well, again, it's about the 15 minutes of focus, right? So a lot of people they're like, okay, I'm going to do this 15 minutes of focus. And they think 15 minutes is all it's going to take. But really what it is, it's 15 minutes over and over and over again, depending on how big your goal is. Are you all aware of what I'm talking about when I say 15 minutes of focus? Okay, just making sure. I can only see 4 people on the side, so I'm assuming the other people are shaking their heads yes. If not, ask your team because you're missing out on a really cool tool. So on there, it talks about like reaching out to 3 new people. So you're constantly wanting to fill your pipeline, right? And then follow-ups, and then reaching down and pouring greatness into people into your team. So for me, like every single day, that needs to happen. I need to do those things, right? And then following up with current cleansers and seeing how they're doing. So that is a huge focus. Now, it's really easy to get into management mode, right? When you have this team and you're just working with your team and you kind of stop doing the actions yourself. But the way I really stay balanced in that is knowing that whatever I'm asking my team to do, I have to do as well, or else I'm not doing it out of integrity. So if I, at the end of the day, at the 15 minutes of focus, and I don't have names written down that I've, reached out to or followed up, then I stop and I do that, right? So that's how I find balance in it, because my team is growing and I have a lot of people who aren't on my team who will reach out for help. And, we're like we're one team, right, with Isagenix. So I want to help others, not just people who I'm financially connected to. So it's really important that, to tune in and look at those 15 minutes of focus, because it doesn't have to take a lot of time to continually reaching out to new people and, working on your list. But yeah, just having that, like I literally will write the people's names down that I talk to daily. And that just keeps me accountable to myself.
That's good. You have such strong accountability for yourself. That's so great. So what would you say was your favorite book or podcast or tool that you keep going back to every time you kind of are starting to feel like again? Like, what do you always go back to?
Well, if I start to have stuff like any of my objections or issues about, the industry or the company, right? Or the products, like that doesn't really happen because my belief is so strong now. But in the beginning, it wasn't so much a podcast or a book or anything. It was my upline, right? I would borrow their belief. If I was struggling in something like nutritional wise, I would call another nutritionist who I know is building the business. And I would ask what's going, like, what do you feel about this and how? And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, awesome. So that's really how, for me, my belief has continued to grow and I've been able to get through things. Now, personal development wise, because that's the 4th one, right? Belief in yourself. And my gosh, I could talk. Do you guys have 20 hours? Because I could sit here forever because I love personal development. But I have a book here, and this is my favorite book ever. Can you see it? The Desire Map. This is by a Canadian woman in Vancouver, Danielle Laporte, her name is. And I go back to this book often, and I've done different courses with Danielle because it's all about, it says a guide to creating goals with soul, right? So if I'm starting to feel like, oh, is this worth it? And trust me, it's worth it. But, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to do any more calls tonight. I just want to watch Game of Thrones, or whatever. I'll go back to my core desired feelings that I found out in this book. This book helps you go through according to your desires, according to the feelings that you want to create in your life, according to the life you want. It helps you dissect. It's like a full program going through and figuring out what, first of all, your core desired feelings are, and second, how you're going to achieve them. So for me, every time I go back to this is Isagenix at its core. right? Like, this is it. When I look at everything I want in my life to achieve, to give back, the person who I want to become, it's with this company and my team and this, you know, incredible, like, almost like huge team we all have, that I can accomplish these things. So that is what builds my belief in myself, because I want this so bad, and I want this for my family. I want this freedom. I want, you know, I want this life so badly that when I go back to that and revisit these feelings, it's just like, okay, get to work. You know, Game of Thrones can wait. You need to do this call. So yeah, I love that book. And she has a couple other things like the Fire Starter course. And it's really, you know, she's a massive entrepreneur herself, and she has a lot of entrepreneurial their followers, right? And yeah, so that's my fave, I think, for sure.
I've never even heard of that book, but I definitely wrote that down. That sounds really interesting. So just we're kind of running short on time talking to you, but just a couple tips that you would give to people on sharing during the holidays.
Yeah, get your 15 minutes of focus out, right? And every day, see what you've done on there. Have it, you know, right there, because that'll keep you on track. Okay. And so first of all, keeping yourself on track throughout the holidays, that's my number one tool. That's what I use for my team. And really, you know, as far as talking to people and enrolling, a lot of people are looking for ways to not gain weight right now. You know, the maintain, don't gain. That's beautiful. What I really love is working up to, you know, buy your system now, so that we can, as soon as you're ready after Christmas, you know, let's do this huge group cleanse program, right? So that's really, I find people's objections are hugely like, oh, I have, you know, parties and all of that to go to. And you run into that every year. And once I had one of my best months in December, right? So it really doesn't, the month doesn't matter. You can still really do well in sharing. But yeah, is that a good tip? I don't know. Okay.
Well, obviously you're doing okay, so I think it's a good tip.
Okay.
Chanci, thank you so much for sharing all those amazing tips. I know we all appreciate it and love you so much for it. So thank you so much for being on this call with us tonight. I really
thank you. And everyone, look for me on like Facebook and Instagram. I'm Pleasurably Healthy. That's my name.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Chanci.
Thank you.
Hey, wow, Chanci, just one note. If you click gallery view in the top right corner of your screen, you'll be able to see everybody.
Oh, I know that. I just kind of like to see the one person I'm talking to at that time. Yeah, thank you, though.
And guys, does anyone have any questions for Chanci? I haven't seen anything come in on the chat.
Gallery now. There we go.
But does anyone have any? Now's the time. No one's unmuting, so I'm gonna guess no. I guess you answered all their questions for them.
There you go.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chanci.
You're welcome.
Wow, that was amazing. So I am very excited to introduce our next and final speaker. Her name is Vanessa. I'm totally gonna mess your last name up. I think it's Lancione. Close. I'll just murmur it a little better. Very excited for this portion. It's our PG portion, our personal growth portion of the call. Vanessa is a former actress and a future law clerk or lawyer. I think she's trying to decide. And a visionary leader for showing young people the opportunity to own their lives both physically and financially through the vehicle of network marketing. She has started Isagenix in 2012 as a university student. At that time, though, she was only using the product while her mother persisted that she start doing the business. In 2015, she decided to really make a permanent lifestyle with Isagenix. And as a result, she's been able to help so many people achieve better health and financial goals. She now believes that everyone deserves to feel their best and have Isagenix nutrition rock their world. So, Vanessa, I'm so excited to hear from you.
Oh, I unmuted myself. All right. So thank you guys. Everybody was such wonderful speakers. I started to get nervous a little bit before talking, and that doesn't usually happen. So yeah, I guess I just did a little bit about my story. As Kimberly was saying, you know, I was introduced to Isagenix by my mom in my first year of university. She started talking to me about shakes and cleanses, and I said, oh dear God, like what quick fix have you discovered now? Like I was just kind of skeptical at first, but then when I saw her, I couldn't believe my eyes. I was absolutely floored. And before that, you know, I was just extremely exhausted. I gained well over the freshman 15, like the freshman 20, probably closer to that. And I was just a miserable human being. And so I started the products in the summer after first year, lost 17 pounds, felt amazing. I realized very quickly, you know what, I'm going to use these products for the rest of my life. But as being a stubborn Vanessa university student, I continued to kind of just, you know, live that university life, not really making it a lifestyle. In my last year is when I decided, okay, when I graduate, it's going to be for real this time, which is what I did. Lost 22 pounds last summer, which was so exciting. And as a result, I have so much energy. But what really, really excites me the most, I think, about Isagenix, because I mean, we all know, like, the products work. The products are amazing. And if you know, put in 100% into your goals in terms of your health, you're going to get there. So what really excited me was the business, because I had known about the business since 2012, but I never saw myself as a network marketer. I never saw myself as somebody who would do that. But then as the years would kind of go on, my mom was like, well, you know, like Peter Kelly is a young person, and she would just like throw these like successful start people in my news feed. I'd be like, okay, Mom, I'm busy. I don't have time for that. And so I guess when I graduated and I started sharing my results on Facebook, everybody lost their minds. Everybody said, I want to do that too. And that's when it started to really click for me. And I said, wow, I have something that people want, and this is so incredibly excited. So now, as a millennial who is seeing everybody she knows struggle to even get anywhere in their careers, I'm so passionate about sharing this vehicle with people. So I really want to thank you guys for having me on the call today. That's a bit about my story. So yeah, we're going to just talk a bit about personal development. So for myself, I was what you would probably call a sponsor monster. I would just enroll, and I didn't really know what I was doing. And moreover, I didn't really know how to lead people. And it was from that point on where I said, you know, okay, well, my mom's sponsor Juan said, you know, you have to read books every day. And I said, oh dear God, does this guy think I have time like to read? Like I don't have time to do that. And so then he's like, okay, we'll start listening to podcasts. And that's what I started doing. And so essentially what ended up happening was I started oh God, what was the first book I started reading? I think it was The Have It All Woman by Susan Sly, which was so good. I still have that. And so I started to realize, like, in listening to other leaders and other millionaires and six-figure earners, the common thread that everybody had was personal development. The leaders think differently than the average person. And that's where, you know, my money mindset or my own personal growth mindset just was not at par. So eventually, and here's the thing, guys, like I'm still like, you know, not struggling, but I'm still that type of person that needs to say, okay, Vanessa, you have to read now. It's not something that still comes easy to me, but I just wanted to really kind of reiterate some points that I've been learning throughout the year and a half that I've been doing this business, that your income can only grow as far as your personal growth kind of grows, or your personal development. Like your income's not going to suddenly be you're not a millionaire up here first, right? And so what we're doing right now is I'm actually in a mentorship group with Robin and Mike Dallaire. Sarah and Jason are on that call as well. And what they are getting us to read, I have the book right here. It is the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John C. Maxwell. So I just wanted to recommend this book because I just started reading this book, like 10 weeks ago when we started. And I wish that it was the first book that I had read. And the reason for it is because it really makes growth and personal development tangible in your hands, right? It's like step by step. Where do you need to go? Okay, the book again is called The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John C. Maxwell. And I know that he has like a ton of other books, like How Successful People Think, and the 15 or 17, 21, I don't even know. It's like Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. It's one that I haven't read yet. So that's just something, like, if you guys haven't, yeah, he has 100 books, exactly. So if personal development is not something that you have invested your time in yet, I highly recommend that you do that, because quite honestly, I truly believe that you actually cannot be successful in network marketing or entrepreneurship or anything really in your life, thank you, Jason, unless you are growing yourself. And another thing that I'm kind of learning through my own personal growth, and it's something that I'm really trying to kind of relay with my team as well, is that, you know what, if you only grind on the days that you feel like it, you won't be that successful. And so how can you kind of take your mindset to that next level so that you're always kind of on the go? And yeah, you know what? You're going to have days where you're like, I'd rather watch Game of Thrones. Absolutely, Chanci. I was laughing at that. It's like my favorite show, me and Dane. But realistically, you know, like on the days that you don't necessarily feel like it, those are maybe the days that you have to push the hardest and you have to do the work and stuff. So some other kind of books that I recommend for personal development are You Are a Badass, and I'm so sorry I forgot the author, but it's a good book, and The Energy Bus as well. And actually, funnily enough, I bought The Energy Bus and The Carpenter, which is by, I think it's John Gordon, and Dane has The Carpenter. I haven't read that one. So yeah, guys, just really immerse yourselves. Like what I'm telling my team as well is just to read maybe 10 pages a day, listen to maybe a 20 or 30-minute podcast while you're doing something tedious like cleaning or cooking or driving, something that you have to do every day, because the more you fuel your mind, even if, and this is what we learned on our leadership summit this weekend, is that if you grow yourself even just 0.3% every single day, that makes you 100% better by the end of the year, which is so exciting. I'm thinking, oh, sorry, one more recommended tool for you guys, other than the Healthy Mind and Body, which you haven't done. If you haven't done that, please do that. Otherwise, the other book that I really recommend is The Slight Edge. That one changed my mom's entire life. My mom had lost so much weight. Yeah, so much weight like a couple years ago, then put it all back on because she just wasn't mentally there. I gave her this book, and as of today, she's 30 pounds down. So I'm really, really excited, guys. But I think that's all I have for you guys today. Let me know if you have any questions.
That was so good, Vanessa. Oh my gosh, I feel like you just like kicked my butt in personal development. I feel like I need to go read now. I feel like I just need a voice note from you every day to be like, Kim, read your pages. That was so great. Thank you.
I feel like Ashley can attest to that, right? Read your pages all the time. And she does it. She's good. She's coachable.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. That was amazing.
You.
If you wouldn't mind just putting in the chat any of the books that were missed, just so that everyone can have them. And thanks, Vanessa. So guys, this is the end of our Sunday night call. I want to thank all the speakers tonight. You three ladies are absolutely phenomenal. I loved hearing from each and every one of you. You're such different characters, and it was so great to see where you've come from, and thank you guys so much for being on the call. We appreciate it so much. Guys, so call to action this week. We really want you to keep on sharing during the holidays. I know it's a hard time because you have me and Tina were talking about it when I first got on the call. Our lists are growing because you have so much to do, but don't let that shift your focus. Because ultimately in January, when you have to pay those Visa bills that you just spent all this money on, you want to be able to see that business growth and be able to use that money towards your Christmas. Like, how amazing would that feel, right? So please make sure you don't lose your focus. Also, these calls are recorded and they're posted on YouTube, the Start Canada YouTube channel. So please go subscribe and share it to any of your team members who to be on the call tonight. Also, we are looking for people for next year for anything. Sorry. Oh, sorry, Tina. I thought that was to me. We're looking for people to be speakers in the PG portion, trainers, starter and spotlight. So if any of you want to be involved or know someone who wants to be involved, please reach out to Tina or Morgan. They're building the schedule now. So this week, seasonal shake on Tuesday. I know I'm super excited. I don't know if some people didn't know, but there is one. Sarah and Jason, I'm guessing, did not know that. There is a seasonal shake coming out on Tuesday. So, guys, watch out for that. So that's the most exciting thing of the week. And next week, we have Stacy Moore, who's going to be talking about how to keep an associate on track. So, guys, please pump these calls. We want to be able to max out. Sorry, Tina, do you have something to say?
No.
Oh, okay. It looks like you are ready to go. So, guys, please pump these calls. We want to max out. We want to get this going. We all know the value in it. So let's take a quick screenshot for anyone who is hiding. And then we'll be on our way this Sunday.
Come on, guys. Open up your videos. Let's see you. Only if you're decent, though. Make sure you're wearing clothes. PJs.
Hey, get in the camera.
6-pack abs. Here we go. Okay, you guys ready? 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! One more time. One more time. Good luck. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for jumping on tonight. Thank you, Kim. And next week will be amazing. Just, with Stacy coming on to talk about keeping people going, how many of you wish that everyone you got started was still eating the food? Right? So it'd be a good call not to miss. Chanci, Vanessa, Raeanna, we love you guys. Thank you. And thank you, Kim, for amazing hosting.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys, so much. I'm so excited. And have a Merry Christmas if I don't get to talk to you guys again.
See you soon.
Bye, guys.